What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to today's Raid Shadow Legends video. We're doing a build video today. Which champion, you might ask? It is going to be Ultimate Galek. What? I mean, Ultimate Galek, that's old news. It is, but I think it's very interesting because this champion on my account has done a lot of great things, and I'm about to change his gear yet again. So I thought he was a great example to use as to how you can use a champion in multiple ways. And in the beginning, you don't have crazy gear. Therefore, you can't get the most out of a certain champion because one, maybe you need too much accuracy. The other one, maybe you need too much offensive stats. Maybe you want to get a lot more speed and sustainability. Therefore, it's hard to balance everything out. And Ultimate Galek has sort of been that for me. I used him a while ago, okay? Almost, I'm gonna say, what is it? 7 months ago for my 100% success rate Spider 20 build. Ultimate Galek was the reason I was able to do that. Even though I already had 3 cold hearts back then, I toned it back down to something that I considered to be better. Why? Just because I wasn't wasting energy, right? The problem with my nuke builds, they've always been sort of like a hit or miss. Very low success rate. And so when I reached Arbiter, I redesigned all my teams to be very high success rate. And Ultimate Galek was the key for me for Spider 20. So when I first built him, it was as a debuffer and not a damage dealer. We know he can hit pretty hard, and I'll show you guys in a second. But what I wanted from him was to not kill the spiderlings. What I wanted was to apply the AoE HP burn. And so he was accessible. We didn't have anything else, and it made a lot of sense for me to try and use him. So in this video, pretty simple. I just go over that build. We do a run. I pair him with Torment for a lot of crowd control, right? And you saw right there, very weak hit from his AoE HP burn, because again, I do not want to kill the spiderlings. All I want is to apply that HP burn. Therefore, I made him just very high accuracy, cheap gear, 100% crit rate, and just a decent amount of speed. And I think that at one point we do go over his gear, so let's quickly zoom to that. Here we go, right here, okay? So my first Ultimate Galek. This is how I had built him, okay? Very low attack, a high amount of defense, a decent amount of speed. Maybe we can move the cursor a little bit, right? Ish, decent amount-ish. Could have been a lot better, but again, he was tuned in that team to work perfectly, all right? So back to this guy. What do we love about him? Well, exactly that, right? The HP burn. But we know he can actually hit pretty hard, and he also has a turn meter reduction and another turn meter reduction, not to mention the turn meter increase on his A1. Therefore, he has a lot of control. Also has the ability to remove a stun from his passive. Don't typically really use him for that. So how am I using him today? That's the big question. Well, remember that spicy chicken wing challenge? I was forced to build more champions, and Ultimate Galek was one of the only other available nukers I had, so I decided to build him in offensive pieces. And I never really got around to using him as a nuker because I never pulled him in that spicy wing contest. Still, I wanted to showcase how hard he can hit with the gear he has today before I change him yet again. So before we look at my Ultimate Galek, let's look at the Ultimate Galek. Okay, so Murder Inc. had built him with some insane offensive stats. And we can see right there, boom, like huge hits. I think you guys can see, right? Like enough to basically annihilate entire teams. Okay, he can hit hard enough, for sure. So I wanted to give that a shot in the Spicy Wing Challenge, but like I said, never happened. So today, we're gonna look at the gear that I had put on him for specifically that purpose. Not the HP burn, just AoE nuke. And then eventually, I'll cover him again once I've changed him into his new gear, all right? So how did I build the Ultimate Galek? It was Savage set. I didn't have any other sets lying around, so I decided to go with trying to build something that might be useful in the long run, at least on another champion. And so a Savage with crit damage kind of made sense, even though the stats aren't that crazy, okay? We have to admit, like, it's relatively low attack. This should be at like 4.5k. Speed is okay-ish, but like I like to have my nukers close to 200 speed. At least that's how it is for my Foley. Crit rate, you want this to be at 100% because of the way his skills work. And then crit damage, this would need to be at like 270%. But as you understand, right, by now, my account as free to play is very hard to balance all the gear. So anyway, I had built him with this set right here. We're gonna go over the pieces here real quick. Okay, so I started having some decent sets of Savage, or pieces of Savage. I thought it'd be a good idea to try and put them together. Here we have crit rate and speed, which is good, but no attack percent. Speed, crit damage, no crit rate, unfortunately. Here we have crit rate gloves, okay, because again, I didn't have extra crit damage gloves, so I was forced to try and put together other sets. We have attack percent chest, which is pretty decent all around, I'll admit. Crit rate, HP percent, and we have some 6-star speed boots. It has defense percent, no crit rate here again. So you can see that I'm missing a lot of crit rate on the gear. Therefore, I had to work with crit rate gloves. And unfortunately, that means I have relatively low crit damage overall. We have an attack ring, or flat attack. Then we have a crit damage amulet. And we have an accuracy banner. Because even though I'm not bringing him for the HP burn, the turn meter reduction aspect of this skill would also work off the HP burn and then the turn meter reduction. So you still need a certain amount of accuracy, right? But again, I was mainly looking for that damage. If I was gonna use him at that as a nuker for the arena, that would have been the purpose. I went with Hum Smasher, and recently I modified the Masteries a little bit to get Evil Life for Faction Wars. And again, this might change specifically for Faction Wars because I am now at the last stage. And that's the big reason why I want to cover Ultimate Galek yet again, is because he's probably going to change for this, right? He's a little bit too much glass cannon. I need sustainability out of him, so I might have to go like full speed, a decent amount of accuracy, but also lifesteal. So I have to put together a set that'll do all of that instead of my Savage set. I still don't really have that on my account. Can you believe it? After all this time. Anyway, all that being said, let's quickly look at the Great Hall because it does affect the stats, right? So you got to factor this in. Obviously, this is helping quite a bit. The extra crit damage, the extra accuracy, attack, the whole thing. But hey, I'm a little bit more end game now, so this is somewhat normal. And let's go into the arena, and I want to try a couple battles with this guy, okay? Literally, because like I said, I do not really use him, but I know he can hit relatively hard, as we saw with the Murder Inc. video, okay? So we're gonna hope that we're faster here. We are, and this seems to be a very easy team, I'm not gonna lie, so we're not gonna pretend that we're picking the hardest teams out there. All we wanna see is, you know, this skill right here. How hard can it hit the way I currently have him built? Okay-ish, right? I mean, we're not nuking these teams. My Foley would have taken this team out in one shot, no problem. But here's what I love, though. If you pair him with, let's say, your Tormin as your crowd control champion, which I still use today, and we get the fire HP burn plus the frost applied like we see right there, then we're having a lot more crowd control. This is a combo that was talked about before, but like it's sort of been forgotten. Is it actually viable, right? Could we use this in Tag Arena right now? Obviously, I don't see it in Gold 4, Classic Arena. I don't see it in Tag Arena. Look at that. That Torment then just goes crazy with all those procs. I love it, right? I think it's a little bit underrated. I think it still has its place. Maybe now with the Faction Wars, maybe you guys would be a little bit more tempted to give this a shot. Okay, this seems to be another relatively easy team, but let's just try it. For the heck of it, let's see, we have some Spirit Champions here, so maybe we're going to hit a little bit harder. It doesn't look like they're very tough. No shield. I mean, my Torment's already dealing a lot of the damage. Same thing here with our Harvest Jack. Going to weaken them quite a bit. Still, let's try. Let's see how much damage we can deal. I mean, 20k, 15k, so a total of 35k on the Mashald. He's a relatively weak champion. So again, it's not crazy, but you have to understand that I was desperate, right? For that spicy wing challenge, all I wanted was an extra nuker. Decided that, you know what, I gotta make it work. That's my only option. Let's try one more battle here for you guys, and then I will let you go. Okay, here we go. This might be a little bit harder. Okay, no shield again, so okay, this might not be that hard. Here we go. Let's do this. And as you can see, I do not have AoE decreased defense, okay? And I think that's important to mention because the way I use my nukers in Tag Arena or Classic Arena, I like to go for a little bit more crowd control. But maybe I can do another battle right after this with, instead of, let's say, the Harvest Jack, we're going to put in an AoE decreased defense. I probably have one sitting around ready to go. And let's just finish this battle here real quick. Wasn't an exactly a great representation. Okay, 50k hit there from his A2. So don't be don't underestimate his A2. It actually hits really, really hard as well. And sometimes on auto, I'm not going to lie, he's going to do his A2 first. Depending, I believe, if there's any sort of like spirit champions, maybe a certain amount of spirit champions, he's going to go for the A2 before going for the A3. Can be a little bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, what about this right here? Relatively weak again, but let's try it. Let's remove this guy. And I believe my Stag Knight is relatively well speed tuned for this. And that's going to be the final battle. Okay, here we go. Are we faster? Yes, we are. AoE provoke. Okay, we got a couple. Freeze there. AoE decrease defense. We got 1, 2, 3, and then here we go with the AoE. I mean, again, I'm not picking the hardest teams. I get it, but still, I think he's somewhat viable, right? Shout out again to Murder Inc. because he proved it before, and I've always wanted to give him a shot, but like I've never really put the best gear on him. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it. Really just wanted to showcase the ultimate Galek, couple different ways to build him as a debuffer, as a nuker, or perhaps, like I said, my next build is going to be somewhat of a sustain champion. I want high speed lifesteal because I want to keep using these skills for the turn meter reduction on the last boss of the Orcs Faction Wars. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.